So one of a few people in my comment section asked the question, how can I demand a woman be fit, feminine, and beautiful and still be a bit on the husky side? And I just found that very entertaining. For you all who don't know, I recently entered into my fifth decade of life. And my fiance, who I've been dating since she was 20, is now 24. Gorgeous woman. Uh, you can see her collarbone. And she is fit, feminine, and beautiful. And for the most part, I've only dated women who are fit, feminine, and beautiful uh, for, we'll say, the past 20 years. And that time period coincides with my success as a man. Those of you guys who uh, watch co-parenting with the Sperlings can tell that even my ex-wife is herself a beautiful woman. She herself is fit, feminine, and beautiful. My child's mother, and is also a woman who is known for her beauty throughout the world. Being that she is a former runway model and Miss Universe contestant. Literally, she represented her country in one of the Miss Universe pageants. So I've always had fit, feminine, and beautiful women once I got to the age where I was publicly known as being successful, where I was publicly known as having money, um, along with the other things that come along with success. I tell fellas all the time, it's greater later, okay? It is greater later for men. And the reason that is greater later, because it takes time to build yourself up as a man. And the thing is, you young men should take the pressure off of yourself by recognizing that in the future, when you get to the age of 40, that's when life really starts for men. That's when life really becomes good for you. Through your 20s and 30s, you should really just be focused on building yourself up. Now, as far as the commenter, as you guys can tell, I'm a very large man. I'm approximately 6'4". I went to the doctor today, and I'm about 311 pounds. And to many of you, it's like, oh my God, this guy is huge. And you would assume that, I have a disproportionate amount of body fat, but in actuality, I'm just a very large man, especially compared to the typical African-American male, But the other thing is, I've constantly lifted weights. I used to play offensive tackle. I practiced jujitsu 3 times a week at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I practiced martial arts. And so even, sparring with other people doing Muay Thai, they are shocked at how fast and how quick I can move for my size. But this is just genetics. I'm just one of those gifted, physically or genetically gifted black men who can be large, who can carry weight, and who's extremely strong, extremely fast, and extremely quick. Now, when you see me in a suit, it just looks like I'm a large man. But nevertheless, we all can lose a few pounds, and I might be a little chubby around the belly. But again, I'm in my 5th decade of life. Some of you think it's unfair, though, and many of you men and women also think that, well, if your woman is demanded, if she's in shape, you should be in shape. But you're trying to impose female standards on a male, when in reality, the standards for what is masculine, what is successful as a man, what is attractive as a man, is invariably going to be different than what is attractive for a woman. Women are typically attracted to men who are successful, who have financial resources, who have a social network. There's no requirement that I be cute. There's no requirement that I have a 6-pack or an 8-pack. That's what women like, I guess. Just like I would like to have a Ferrari, I guess. But then in reality, I can't really fit in a Ferrari. So it's fun to look at. So eventually, just like a man with a 6-pack and no job, you realize that this is useless and a waste of time. Likewise, there's a woman out there, I'm sure, who is comparable to me. She might be a professional. She may, or at least on the surface, more fertile. And that characteristic usually goes along with youth. We are not attracted to women who have wrinkles and gray hair and uh, uh, these other signs of old age. We don't find that as feminine. We don't find that as attractive. Um, and so because of that, men who have options are able to pick and choose the women that are, who have those qualities that we want. On the flip side, women are not necessarily attracted to a man who is cute. And yeah, they might be attracted on a physical level, but as far as what is necessary for a man to fulfill his obligations in a relationship related to the roles of each sex, cute is not necessary. A high earner, that's necessary. A six-pack is not necessary. A man who is able to protect a woman, that is necessary. A man who has a social network that he can make phone calls or send out emails and get things done. A man who can reach out and touch someone, if need be, is someone that is far more important than a man who's 6 feet tall. Again, we will never disregard the physical attributes. There will always be a place for handsome men. There will always be a place for attractive men. If you're a good-looking guy, hey man, have at it. If you spend time in the gym, that's wonderful. Have at it. I think physical fitness is great. I am definitely not against physical fitness, but as that is only one aspect of masculinity. To be physically fit means that now this person is probably more apt to be able to protect his family and his children. A woman may feel safer around him, but at the end of the day, if you can't provide a shelter and a home and a certain lifestyle that a certain caliber of woman knows that she can get from other men who are also available on the sexual marketplace value, eventually you'll lose out. You'll be one of these guys who had sex with a few hot chicks, and then you think you got all the game in the world. But those women, unless they're compromised because they have children, will typically seek out men who can provide for them on a consistent basis at a lifestyle level that they would deem higher than the one that they can provide for themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, women are hypergamous. And yes, there's a dating hypergamous aspect, but then there's also a lifestyle hypergamy. You wouldn't want a woman who is a 8 to a 10 who grew up in poverty may let a man who is handsome but also lives in poverty, she may let you play with her goodies, but at the end of the day, if she can do better, she will. And that's just the nature of womanhood. And so for men to try to, or men or women, and I'm assuming, women, to try to align physical symmetry with, or how a man looks versus how a woman looks, his physical fitness versus her physical fitness, to make sure that they're symmetrical in order for them to be a better match, it's just a false equivalency, because that's not what women are looking for. And the truth is, a beautiful hot chick will date a very successful man if he's not the best looking man. She'll date him if he's not the most physically fit man. Okay? So a 9 or a 10 will date a guy who's, 45, 50 years old, 60, 70, because he's got the resources. He's got the resources, he's got the money, he's got the power, he's got the connections. That's what women look for. And you couple that with masculinity, and then that's going to take you over the top in the long run. On the flip side, a man who has all the resources in the world, the money that he needs, his ability, his freedom to travel and come and go, he typically is not, he's going to exercise his options, and he's going to choose the best option for himself. And given the choice of choosing a woman who is his age, and let's say he's in middle age, and choosing a woman who is significantly younger, all things being equal, he's going to choose that woman at a younger age. If I have an opportunity to choose a woman who is in her 40s, or the woman who is identical to this woman but 20 years younger, I'm going to choose that woman. It's nature that we're fighting against. So I say all this to say, you know, the standard of beauty doesn't apply to men as far as what is deemed attractive to women. Of course, again, and I'm going to reemphasize this, I am definitely pro physical fitness. I am definitely pro being in shape and being healthy, but the aesthetics of how you look is not as important as those other qualities. It is just one quality that is important. Men are visual. They want to see a beautiful woman. They want to be attracted to this woman. If they're not attracted to you, guess what? You may not appeal to their libido. You know, one of the best cures for ED is a hot chick. You got some friends who have ED, and you know, tell them to go down to Colombia, and I'm sure they'll find the medicine that they need. Go hang out in the Dominican Republic, in the Philippines, in Thailand, and you will quickly realize, fellas, it's not you. You're not the problem. It's the women that you are presented with in your normal environment. But when you go to an environment where the women are fit, beautiful, and feminine, then you know it's a natural aphrodisiac for the male species of our kind, and you don't really need those medicines. So keep that in mind, fellas. And that's how powerful a beautiful, fit, feminine woman is. Those type of women motivate you. You know, if you wake up to a bad-built, ugly woman, you know, with a bad attitude and a big wide body, you're not going to be motivated as you would be by having a fit, feminine, beautiful woman. Those type of women will make you feel like you can conquer the world. It gives you something to work towards. It is a wonderful thing to have worked your whole life to get to the point where you are deemed successful and you're rewarded with a fit, feminine, beautiful woman. Okay. It does not matter her degrees. It doesn't matter her, you know, what's in her 401k. Hell, it doesn't even matter what language she speaks. It doesn't even matter what financial class she grew up in. The mere fact that you have this fit, feminine, beautiful woman motivates men. You know, we're not attracted to the things that women are attracted to per se. So, you know, I just hope that, you know, I just hope that you guys recognize that this occurrence of being a beautiful man, or the requirement of being a beautiful man, is something that is very common in Western society. There's a reason why it's common in Western society, because women have the option of being with a beautiful man, even if he's not productive. And the reason that they don't need a productive man in Western society, and that includes the US, Canada, Australia, they can pick and choose and get the handsome fellas. He doesn't even have to have a job. He can sit up and play video games all day, because they have the conveniences of Western society. Western society allows for women not to really need men. Technology and the government come in and take the place of what normally would be the masculine role in society. You can go to the grocery store with your welfare check and get your food, your EBT card. You got Section 8. On the higher end, you got these DEI jobs. You had a DEI college given education, so you got a job paying you the same amount that a man would get, not because you necessarily earned it or got to that position because of your own ingenuity and hard work, but perhaps just because, you know, of your XX chromosomes. So you have an unearned position, not all women, but enough of them. You got an unearned position that pays you a handsome salary. So now you have the luxury of going out And you know, with your money to burn, you got the luxury of going out and finding yourself a man that you deem as pretty, a man that you deem as handsome, and you can do that. But that's only in these societies. And what happens is all of women choose the same guys. They choose the same 10% of men who have the same physical features or the same personality that they find challenging, whether it be toxic or otherwise. And they pick and choose those men, and they interact with those men, and they have children, offspring by those men. Some get burned, some don't. Some end up being, you know, to the tune of 80% oftentimes, judging by the single mother wedlock, out of wedlock birth rate. And but that's why they have the luxury of doing that. They can pick the pretty men. They can pick the guys who they otherwise wouldn't be with because he's not able to provide resource. You can do that in Western society. That's available to you. And that's why, because of how this society is set up, women can have these unrealistic standards and not suffer. And that's what you see happening. So in having these unrealistic standards, not only do they want a man who's a great provider, but now they can say, well, not only do you have to be a great provider and go through the ringer and the hoops necessary to get yourself to be in the top 1% of earners, but you also have to have a six-pack. So you gotta work that 12-hour day. Then you also got to go to the gym for about 4 or 5 hours, and you got to maintain that for several years to a decade. And you still got to make time for the woman and me and, you know, all that, the me thing that they need, their time and attention. And you still might not stand a chance. But they can call for that in the society because the society is set up to allow women to have these unrealistic expectations. So that said, fellas, the next time a woman says, you know, you're not that physically appealing, how can you demand that your woman be physically appealing? Because the rules are different, because it's a double standard. But I'm going to ask you, ladies, what would you rather have? A guy that spends his time in the gym all day and works on his physical fitness and has accumulated and has built this body up, this beautiful, and that you enjoy touching? Or would you rather have a man that can provide a lifestyle that that is conducive for a healthy family and for your ability to relax and not have to stress out about those responsibilities that come along with adulthood? Now, some of you men are saying, well, you know, nobody should be a simp. I get that. Normally, in a society where the laws are fair, where the family laws aren't set up so that if a woman decides for whatever reason or no reason at all, she wants to file for a divorce and take you for your money, she would be in a situation where she couldn't leave that man. But these days, unless you have a prenuptial agreement or a trust account, you know, women get a chance to file their lawsuits and run off with the kids and half your money plus a monthly stipend in the form of child support and alimony. But under normal circumstances, they wouldn't have that option. And so they would invariably make the better decision of like, yeah, let me go ahead and stay with these guys who support. They might play with the guys, especially when they're younger. They might play with the guys that they find more physically attractive. But at the end of the day, women are survivors, and they know at a certain point they don't have room to play. But because of societies that we live in, we've made it so comfortable for them to make so many mistakes over and over again. They have that option and they become accustomed to it. But, you know, I hold women to the same standards that men throughout time have held women. You're going to have to be fit, feminine, and beautiful. I'm going to do my part as a masculine man. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to keep my nose to the grindstone. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to be hardworking. I'm going to earn. I'm going to maintain my network. You know, I'm going to create relationships that can help me accomplish whatever goals I am, and you're going to be attracted to me. You're going to be beautiful. I jokingly tell my lady all the time, I said, you know, you're getting older, sweetheart. Mind you, I met her at 20, she's 24. I said, honey, you're getting older, you're about to hit that wall. You know, and she laughs like, what do you mean? You're older too? I say, yeah, but I'm still the same. I'm still the same me. You know, whether I'm 46 or 50, I'm still making money, as the great American poet Kanye West said. You're gonna be hot for a short time. I'm gonna be rich forever. So, you know, hey, fellas, let me say this, man. It's hard to get to where you are at a point where you got it all together. But when you do keep your nose to the grindstone, when you work hard, when you master your craft, whether it be as a blue collar worker, white collar, whether you're an engineer, doctor, lawyer, whether you're a plumber, whether you're an electrician, truck driver, when you get to the point where you've made your money and you've made your way in this world, you know, it's great, you know, and it takes some time to do that. So take that pressure off yourself. You guys who are working out, keep working out. If you're unhealthy, go get healthy. You know, I make it a point to keep my blood pressure low and my expectations high, okay? I stay active, and whether or not women find me to be the most physically fit man in the world, I'm still feeling good about myself. I'm healthy, and I can demand things from women because, you know, because that's the exchange. Fit, feminine, and beautiful in exchange for a man who has you know, financial wherewithal, a social network, and in addition to that, you know, I exchange my time and resources and attention for hers. And it's a beautiful thing. This is the way the world works. But other than that, fellas, y'all make sure y'all type is greater later in the chat room. And that way I will know that you actually saw this video, because a lot of people will be triggered by the thumbnail or the title. So make sure you type is greater later in the chat room. And you all take that with you and grow, fellas. Take the pressure off. You want to get to the point where you're my age and you're starting to see the fruits of your labor. You want to get to that point. You want to be able to call the tune and be the shot caller and be the boss when you get to my age. You don't want to be someone who was misled and, you know, and ended up going adrift in an open ocean full of confusion. That's not who you want to do. You don't want to be that guy. But other than that, remember, fellas, it's greater later.